the new IOTA. It's fast, it's scalable, it's affordable, and secure. We were amazed by how secure the language is. One can write their own adapter layer, easily extensible. Assets just flow freely in Move. So I'm here to talk to you about IOTA on the Move. We went ahead and reinvented our Layer 1 network, which is supposed to be an open, programmable infrastructure to create digital ecosystems. So this is what it should be. But if you look back in the last 10 years of our history, IOTA started in 2015 with a discussion on Bitcoin Talk Forum. 2017 seen the launch of the IOTA mainnet, the establishment of the IOTA Foundation. And 2020 seen tech standardization, and basically we relaunched our chain with a new tech, with a more conventional tech, because turns out we set out to do some pretty amazing things which didn't work out as we expected. So we had to kind of make it a little bit more conventional. 2022 was another milestone where we added digital assets and limited programmability on our layer 1, while on our layer 2, we added full support for EVM chains. So basically, for the first time ever, it was possible to run EVM chains on top of our layer 1. Now, it's 2025 and we are here at MoveCon. So why is it the case that we are here? Thing is that these 10 years gave us a lot of insights into how one builds a layer 1, how one builds a DLT. And most importantly, we learned a lot of lessons along this route. First of all, never ever roll your own hash function. I think we learned this the hard way. I don't know if anybody here remembers of the infamous M-bug. There is one person, cool. The second thing is that while we kept on innovating on our collaborative consensus, we kind of neglected the application space that could be built on top of IOTA. So we drew the conclusion that the value of a blockchain lies in the applications that are built on top of it, not on whether it's technically better or faster or cheaper or whatsoever. As engineers, we are also confronted with a lot of wild ideas. These wild ideas sometimes sound too good to be true. And most of the time, well, sometimes it turns out that they are not true. So it's good to be a little bit of reflective of oneself and learn it the hard way that engineering a blockchain is about trade-offs. If somebody tells you that they didn't make any trade-offs, they're lying. And this comes to the next point, which is we think that pragmatism is better than idealism. We set out to achieve great things in 2015 with our novel DAG-based blockchain. It's not even a blockchain because it doesn't have blocks. But turns out that implementing such a system in real life and making it viable is harder than it originally seemed on paper. So we developed this habit of ruthless pragmatism, that we always try to see what works in real life and not what is nice on paper. So I mentioned that 2022, we added new features to our layer 1 assets and limited programmability, but we also realized that we cannot build full-scale applications, and that is hindering the space. So we reached a crossroads last year. 2024 was the year when we finally admitted to ourselves that there are problems with our current protocol and it just doesn't cut it. The most important problem is that we were blocking builders. We had limited programmability on our layer 1, but not fully featured during complete programmability. We had an EVM on layer 2 with a traditional account-based blockchain architecture, but we realized it's kind of limiting scalability. We also seen the poor UX and DevX that this EVM chain wrote, and we've seen bugs and exploits happening on smart contracts. So we asked ourselves the question, what shall we do now? How can we improve this situation? So first thing that we considered is, all right, let's roll our own VM and language. And if you ask anyone in the space, they will tell you probably it's not a good idea, because it's rarely the case that you have to have your own language implementation. So we concluded with our pragmatism that we are not going to fall victims to the not invented here syndrome. Second, let's use EVM, WASM, whatever other blockchain runtimes there are. When we look deeper into these architectures, we realized that none of them were actually designed for secure and scalable blockchain use. None of them were treating assets the way we wanted them to treat assets to provide a safe haven for developers. So then we looked at custom VMs, Bluetooth from Cardano, Solana VM, Radix Fuel, you can name however many as you want. And when we went deeper into their code base and checked out how they actually work and how we could adopt them, turns out their design and implementation is tightly coupled to the underlying blockchain. So it's really hard for you to just take one of these and use it in your own blockchain. So the question that we faced is there a language that provides security, good UX, and in the meantime, it's customizable to any blockchain? Think from the fact that we are here at MoveCon, you can guess that we did find the answer to this question, and that was Move. We were amazed by how secure the language is, how digital scarcity is baked into it. We absolutely love the type system. We love that one can write their own adapter layer, that the language doesn't have a necessary assumption on the blockchain that it runs on. It's easily extensible, and assets just flow freely in Move. Between contracts, there are no silos. We were amazed by how good it was. So we went ahead and did some prototyping. The Hornet node, which is our current implementation, by the way, the developer is sitting here in the ranks, raise your hand, is our current node software that is running the current protocol, was extended with a new execution client. And this new execution client was running object-based Move. We appreciate the great work that other projects, namely Sui or Aptos, put in developing Move, and we wanted to stand on the shoulders of giants. So instead of rolling our own Move version, we just took one and tried to make it run on our own node. Turns out this prototyping was extremely successful. We got it to run. The only problem was that our consensus, IOTA 2.0, which was running here, was not specifically designed to efficiently and fastly handle shared state and sequence transactions. So we were faced with a serious question. What do we do now? The answer to this is we logged our R&D department into a room for a week, gave them the task, all right, figure out what to do, and you are not coming out until you have an answer. And they presented us with this. Guys, we can rebuild our tech for Move, takes roughly 2 years, or we can take an existing solution, rebase our ideas on top of it, and release it much sooner. Now I want to refer back to our learnings over the 10 years that we like to be pragmatic about what we do. So you can guess that we went for the second option. With this, we basically decided to rebase our technology on Sui. Why is that? Well, we think that in the world of blockchains, as we see today, tech is a commodity. Everybody is running high-performance chains. Everybody is having low latency, and basically everything is open source. So there are no closed source project that have a competitive edge because of their technology whatsoever. So why we would think that 2 years and a lot of effort would provide a better result than all the wonderful people who are building these in production today. Second, we definitely did not want to fragment this space anymore. We already have 2 big camps in the Move ecosystem. I think you can name the projects, which one belongs to which. But we believe that going forward, the adoption for blockchains or the case for adoption has to be paved along unification. We don't want to create yet another language just so that we can say that it's better than anyone else. We want to work together with the existing solutions to say, let's throw more brain power on the same problem and let's try to innovate together. And of course, it enables apps to run sooner on IOTA, which our customers are really were pushing for, and enables us as the R&D department to focus on the right problems. So we not only made this decision ourselves, we also asked our community who use the on-chain governance system currently implemented on IOTA. And an overwhelming majority of our voters actually said, yes, we want this to go forward. So with this, let me present you the new IOTA. It's fast, it's scalable, it's affordable and secure. We provide industry standard sub-second finality for the third generation blockchains. We believe in the hybrid ledger model, meaning that one can have shared state, but also state that is exclusively owned. So it's basically like your local memory. It's not shared. Because it gives you the ability to scale your blockchain horizontally. You can just throw more resources on the problem and tackle the transaction throughput better. We made significant changes to the tokenomics of the tech because we wanted to have our own system which represents our own beliefs. Therefore, we created a dynamic supply. Inflation is balanced with 100% fee burning. So the long-term thesis of this is that the more the chain gets adapted, the more deflationary the token becomes. So in one way or another, the ecosystem is incentivized to generate usage of the chain. And of course, it's secure because we are standing on the shoulders of giants. Right. As I mentioned, currently, we've been in production for, well, roughly 8 years. So we do have a running network. It's not like we are just launching something new out of the blue. So this comes with an additional set of challenges. We have to migrate a running network. What we did was pretty clever, if you ask me. We implemented our current VM in Move. So we basically emulate the previous ledger that is out there. So we don't break any compatibility with dApps that we have deployed, etc. And assets are automatically translated to this new VM. As a side note, we have an IOTA EVM sidechain, which is also refactored to work with this Move chain. So for the first time, you will have a Move chain that is already running in production, an EVM on top of it. I just put here a little figure of the allocation of the IOTA tokens because a lot of people ask us what effect this migration is going to have on the total supply of the coins. I can tell you that nothing. The tokens stay in the same addresses and in the same wallets. And you can already see that the distribution of the IOTA token is pretty well distributed. I don't know how to put it more nicely. 80% of the current supply is already liquid and circulating on the market. So there are no VC firms involved here that could otherwise have vested tokens, etc. Right. So I mentioned that we made this decision last year, and by the end of the year, we already released a testnet. We call it the IOTA rebase testnet. We onboarded 60 plus validators, and we are doing a lot of continuous integration and testing on this chain. We had amazing learnings from this journey. First of all, we experienced network stability problems with faulty validators. So we already prepared a new consensus architecture, which we call Starfish, which is an iteration on top of the wonderful Mr. SETI consensus that we have inherited. And we are also planning to develop a new backend architecture for our RPCs because we have to handle data at scale, and we think that a new approach is needed there. So to sum it up, in 2025, a mainnet upgrade is imminent, 3 to 6 weeks if you ask me, but no guarantees there. We are launching IOTA grants programs for builders. Of course, we need to build out the whole ecosystem and chain infrastructure in the coming weeks and months. So we want to put an emphasis on also developer content and tooling. We are organizing hackathons. I think the first one is already going to be live next month, so you can apply early March. And of course, Move workshops all around the world. So with this, I would like to leave you with this figure that basically our 10 years of crypto taught us that sometimes it's necessary to make hard decisions to reach your goal. And as most other chains out there, our goal is to get real world adoption, to bring the real world to Web3. With IOTA Move, finally, we will be in a position to do this, and we are not afraid to make this hard decision. So let's move together, guys.